Good evening, Hobby World. Welcome to episode 8 of Hobby Roundtable. We're a panel of YouTubers, content creators, hobby enthusiasts, collectors, and what I would consider friends. Feel free to join us tonight in chat. We come together once a month to talk about our hobby and yours. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. Red Sox are winning.
Thanks for ruining my evening, Mark.
Yeah, Braves come on in just a couple of minutes now.
Is
So-
Georgia's on?
Red Sox.
Georgia football's on, right, Herm?
Nah, they've that's already went off.
Already went up. I got the Bruins on
Ma-
now.
My alma mater won in football today, so
Who's that?
they've only got one loss. Unfortunately, the one loss is to the class of the Ivy Leagues in Princeton, so there's no way they're going to win the Ivy title. But they're competitive this year, which is something when I was in school, Columbia wasn't. We roped off like a 50-plus game losing streak in the 80s, so it's nice to see an occasional win.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought Georgia was going to have a nail biter today. It started out that way.
Who did they play?
Kentucky.
yeah, Kentucky's surprising this year, but I think they can handle them.
Yeah,
For some reason, I dropped out.
You got back. You got back well.
Yeah, your
Pretty quick.
connection wasn't the greatest.
we got Diego in chat. So, Diego, I sent you the link, dude. Go ahead and jump in
Yeah.
whenever you can.
Well, like my
I think we lost him again. Cold weather must be affecting his internet.
Well, mine's okay. But he might be a couple
70.
degrees cooler.
let me. You might lose me for just a second. Let me reconnect to a different internet. Okay, so am I still here?
You're here.
You good
You're
now?
here, but you're grainy.
Okay. I'm grainy.
Well, you're not as
I
clear as
don't
normal.
really. Yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes my internet just acts really strange. I don't know why, but anyway, it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it.
I got some cards back from a year ago.
Well,
Who's on your hat there?
oh, nice. So I'm sitting here. All right.
This is Oh Sung-Wan,
So-
he's a reliever, and he played for 3 MLB
All right.
teams. He's back in Korea now.
Here-
Samsung.
Here's one for you, Dan.
Oh, I like that. I love Sportflix.
Okay.
Sport
Well,
Flicks.
I don't pick up much new, but I want to show you all of this. This is something I've had for a long time. And it's one of the coolest hobby items you'll ever see in your life. It's the Mike Kramer bobblehead of
Mike
Pacific
Kramer.
Trading Cards.
Oh, wow. That's
So I mean, for people, and I realized I've never shown it, and nobody ever sees it. I know Dr. Jim has one. I know a couple other people who have one, but it's a great piece of hobby history, and it's something where there's no real value, which is the beauty of it. It's more the value of the hobby history, which to me that's what we discuss a lot of. Hey, Ken.
What's up, Ken?
Hey, Ken, how did West Virginia do today?
Well, it was the only way they weren't going to lose. We had a bye week.
Oh, okay. Hi, bye. Oh, so the always
Man, check out Ken's shirt.
Yeah, that's why I was late. I wanted to not have Dan see it until it was we were live. So that's
so
that's
Ken
why I was
played
late.
so West Virginia played the always dangerous bye opponent.
Yeah, and they actually almost beat us. We're awful this year.
Rich, check this one out.
Okay,
Jack McKeon in a Red Sox uniform.
I see a Red Sox bobblehead. Jack McKeon. Wow.
He coached 1 year in their minor league system.
I was gonna say I didn't think he managed. I didn't recall him managing the big team.
Nope, just a minor league team. That's why
Mark has the coolest stuff. And I've told the story, but my old mentor in the business, Tom Reed, told me there were no such things anymore as Yaz bread labels. He passed 20 years ago. And I had never seen one, and I'd always kept like a half eye open for them. And one day I posted that, and Mark posts like 5 of them that he owned like the next, within 2 hours. So Mark has a little bit of everything.
If it's Red Sox and Mark doesn't have it, it doesn't exist.
Well,
I got something cool. Look at this Albert Pujols that I just got out of my box.
That's a basketball card.
Yeah, but look.
Hold on. Hey, show it again, George.
So,
Oh, they sent you the wrong card?
yep.
At least it's Akeem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that like the $15 that I paid for that's more than.
Then the Hakeem is worth.
Yeah.
Well, who sent you the card?
Oh, it's from ComC. I don't know.
Hey, do me a favor. In all seriousness, send me a customer service request, and I'll get it forwarded to.
Who's that, Ken?
And I'll get it forwarded to, because a mistake like that is not something that should happen.
Can't quite see.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. Well,
Scott
because
Siegel.
this one
It
is
makes for a
actually-
great story, but that's not that's not what we want. So you get me a tweet or something, a direct message or something. I'll get it forwarded. We will take care of that for you, whatever it takes.
So,
Because that when I saw that, I said, "Uh-oh,
yeah. Well,
I know where that came from."
It was kind of funny because this one right here, it's just
Can you
funny
get
because it's
from
like, okay, so this right here is a relic card, which means
I
it's
could
gonna
guess
be
that
a
from what I
a
saw.
quick relic card, and then it's this. So I was like, yeah, this is actually, I don't know, like let's see, I don't know, I'm just looking, like, doesn't say, it just says inspected by 347 is what it says. Or yeah, whoever 347. But anyway, so
Steph.
And since I've been showing stuff, and then my show and tell will end, this is actually a trophy for winning the trivia contest at the 1986 National.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
nice.
I was 10 years old.
34 years old, 35 years old.
You said 86?
86.
I was just getting into collecting.
Yeah, I hadn't even started yet.
Ricky, what's up?
What was the final question that you had to answer? Disappeared.
He's got
Well,
to put his trophy back in the trophy case.
I made some progress on the
Rich,
Pujols.
Rich, what was the question you had to answer?
Oh, that's nice. Is that a 10? Yeah, 10.
Yeah, this is the only 10 I had in that. So
A 10.
a 10.
I don't think Rick caught that, Mark.
What was the final question you had to answer, Rich, to win?
I don't remember. It is 35 years ago, but it was something like, we all got stumped on this question, and it was something about. And it was something like, the guy said this guy had a record of 6-19 for the 1911 Boston Braves, and nobody knew who it was. Nobody would even thought about it. Let me look up his actual record.
Walter Johnson.
No. Boston Braves. Walter Johnson never played for the Boston.
Hey, I'm just naming anybody I can from that era.
I'm sorry. His record was 8-8. He was 8-18 in 1911, and 4-15 in 1912, and 9-23 in 1910. But the reason the name always stuck with me, his name was Buster Brown.
Buster Brown.
Well, that was the name of shoes, right?
Correct. That's why
Yeah.
That's why I've never forgotten that name.
Yeah, because I remember my mom always talking about the shoes, right? So, yeah. That's funny. Hey, that's a good way to remember things, right? Just associate it with something random.
Buster
Well-
Brown.
Welcome back to YouTube, George.
Yeah, I'm back occasionally. Like, just
But I mean,
well,
now that it's getting cold in Korea and y'all will soon have snow,
right.
you got to get back to the hobby drives because I love seeing all the snow in the background when you did those.
Well, that's the thing. It's like this time of year is the time of year when I can't be as active. I mean, I still get out and I still, go out and do my walks and exercise and stuff. But, where as it is now, I might go out and I might stay out the entire day doing something. Once it starts to get to that winter time, it's like I'll go out and do my couple of hours walking, and then I'm like, screw this, I'm inside the rest of the day. So that's where that's where we're getting to. We're not there yet, but that's where we're getting to. I kind of think that we're going to have maybe a very snowy winter this year because it just seems like everything is sort of delayed, like our rainy seasons and all of that have been delayed and pushed out. We've had rain for 2 weeks straight, except for one day where I live at. Like every day for 2 weeks straight. Normally this time of year, it's dry, like nice. It's just been rain. So I just feel like there's going to be a lot of snow this year.
You get
And I'm
snow than me.
I'm not looking forward to it because I like some of the places that I work at are like way kind of in the mountains, which kind of makes driving a little bit sketchy. So,
Yeah, we just had a rainy couple of weeks. Ended last week, and I was beginning to think we was going to have to get out of here.
right.
I mean, snow's got to be starting soon because it's either Lifetime or Hallmark that starts the Christmas movies in like a week.
That's when we you're on the couch 24/7 for those, right, Ken?
I mean, they literally start them before. I mean, I'm like November 1st, I'm good, and I know that's still too early for a lot of people. But I mean, they're starting them like the 20th or something like that.
But you have to understand, Ken. I mean, one thing is, and I mean, trust me, when I was growing up, because I'm old, when we listened to the radio, you would hear maybe one Christmas song an hour from like December 1st to 15th, maybe two from like the 15th to the 23rd, and then the 23rd, 24th, 25th, yeah, you'd get a lot of it, and like 6 p.m. on the 24th, you'd go all Christmas. All these radio stations switch to Christmas music a lot of times by November 1st or November 2nd or November 8th or whatever.
But the key word there was November, not October.
Hey, but you know why? Because it makes them money.
Oh, I'm sure. I have no problem about that. And I love Christmas.
That's the whole key. It's all money-based.
I love Christmas.
Real quick, Rich, I got a question because I don't know.
I won't have an answer, but I'll blather for 10 minutes and we'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, 2018 Topps Chrome. Now, this is for anybody really, but was all the refractors, were they numbered?
I think some of them may not be numbered. I mean, I since I'm not at work, I don't have, I can't look at the database, but I know that there's some years they don't number some of them, and some years they number them all. It's so much easier when they number them all, but there are times they'll have usually, and sometimes if they're in one of the Target or Walmart, they may have like a prism or a hollow refractor that's not numbered, and you throw up your hands. And I mean, I would almost rather, if you're going to do a parallel, either announce what it is or number everyone. I mean, just on a personal level, so you know what the bleep you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I just figured it out. I had the reason I asked, I had bought a Topps Chrome, what was supposed to have been a purple parallel off of eBay, and I get it, and it was listed as purple, but it's actually pink.
You know, I will tell you from IDing cards. Purple and pink, at least I can usually tell the difference. But Panini has like 40. There was a mistake. This was actually Topps 2021 Bowman Chrome.
Mhm.
And I guess the original checklist that we imported had a mistake. So it's, you know, it's thanks Topps. But I was fixing like 40 versions of this parallel of this player. And I think and Panini does this too, you get like red and maroon. Now, who the bleep can tell the difference between red and maroon?
Right.
You know, I mean, you shake your head sometimes.
I mean, I'm a teacher, and I've got students that can't tell the difference between purple and red. You know, depending on what the scan looks like, I will tell you that purple and red, depending on how the card is scanned, for me to look at can be hard. I mean, we're joking about it, but it's. Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I'm saying it as a joke because sometimes I'll show some colors on the board, you know, because we're practicing something. Like maybe we're practicing colors, and I'm like, "What's this color?" And they're like, "Red," and I'm like, "What's this color?" And they're like, "Red," and I'm like, "No, it's not." So.
Well, it's just like because I've been working on the this year's Chrome Freddie Freeman Rainbow from Topps Chrome, and I'm looking through eBay, and they've got the Aqua Wave listed up for auction. It was already up to like 20 something bucks, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, this isn't the Wave. So I messaged him and asked him if he had a better picture because the picture he was showing looked more like the Aqua and not the Aqua Wave.
Right.
He sends it back and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right. This is just the Aqua, not the Wave." He pulls the auction down. So
Well, good for him for pulling the auction down.
yeah, he could have let it go through, but I mean, it would have dinged him in the end because the difference between the Aqua or whichever color and the Wave is.
Well, there's Aqua, and we call it Aqua and Aqua Shimmer.
Shimmer, yeah.
I don't know if it's Wave or Shimmer. We call it Shimmer. I think that may be the official name, but it's, again, at least the color is the same.
Right. Because they have it in what? They have it in blue and green.
Oh God, yes. And, yeah. Don't forget, there's Aqua and blue.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I heard Ken the other night as guest host, and that was a really stimulating discussion about old stuff.
I didn't do anything wrong.
You were wonderful. No, you were very good. I didn't pay attention to see if you did anything wrong.
I don't think I did.
Remember, I have it on as background the next morning, so I try not to focus on minutia.
I have to admit, I had to watch it the next day too. I honestly forgot that he was going to be on, and I come home and done a bunch of stuff after work, and I conked out at like 9:00, which is.
Well, I don't even worry about staying up. I just say I will listen the next morning.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot easier. Thursday morning I go in, I listen. I hear the dulcet tone. And it was fun to hear the dulcet tones of Ken. But it was nice to hear a good, solid conversation about vintage, because vintage is, you know, many of us do vintage or, you know, focus on vintage or focus, even though I don't collect and I basically I try to play more in vintage or older than I do in new stuff. Frankly, it's because you can't buy the friggin' $20 boxes at Walmart or Target very often anymore. And I don't even look. So,
right.
So I play more with cards I see in discount boxes at shows, and I'm working through right now my backup stock for the next Dallas card show because my employer ComC's coming in, and the way Ken's been to the Dallas card show. Ken?
Yes.
Well, you know that when I'm at so you know what room I'm in now at the Dallas card show.
I mean, are you in the same one as last time?
Same one as last time, Starlight.
I'm still
Starlight is a few hundred feet away from the main room. So I'm going to bring my my cheaper Hall of Famer or insert boxes where I don't worry about paying attention and have a more ComC-centric table. So I'm just going through my backup, seeing if I have anything more to go into those boxes. So it's a totally different experience prepping for that. I mean, I've got boxes already prepped, but I'm trying to find some new things to put in. But it's a totally different experience.
Yeah, I saw your email, and you said you're bringing the quarter boxes.
Yeah, I'm bringing quarter boxes.
So I'm definitely interested to at least give them a cursory glance and see what's in there.
Well, I'm adding a bunch of the new basketball Hall of Famers.
Okay.
I got a bunch of Webbers going in. I got a bunch of Paul Pierces going in. I mean, they're bases, but I mean, in today's world, you know what I charge? There's a sliding scale down. You know, I've got plenty of new stuff going in. You should be able to find plenty of trade bait for your friends.
Very nice. Very nice.
We got peeps in here with us now.
Hey, Peeps.
You got the link in the DM as well if you want to jump on. So,
by the way, I while we were on the air, I got a Facebook message from actually a family friend, more of my wife and mother-in-law than of me. They know the family longer than I do, but the man has suffered the same thing Dina has, which is he's been on dialysis, and they found him a kidney today, and he has an operation tomorrow or Monday.
Sweet.
So that's just such great news.
That is.
I mean, they don't want more details really, but I will say that it's a blessing. You know, having been through that myself, it is quite a blessing not to have to see somebody in dialysis. So let's just hope it's a fairly easy surgery, but let's just hope all goes well. But you know, considering all the bad stuff's goes around, I like to see good news pop. I mean, Mark's had his own good news this year. You've had a kid get married on you this year.
Yep. And I got another granddaughter on the way.
And even better.
how many does that make for you, Mark?
That'll be 7.
Good Lord.
Well, I mean, I got 5, so
Good Lord.
Wait, who has another granddaughter coming?
Mark.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you're going to have to build another birth year set.
No, I don't do it for them.
I'm the one that does that.
Why not?
Well,
I thought you said that. So I thought you
no.
meant yourself. So
No, I hope I should be a while before I have another one.
Herman may not get to build that birth year set since Tops will be gone away by that time.
Yeah, I'm about to tell them if they're gonna do it, they gotta do it in the next 2 years.
Well, the good thing for Herman and the birth year is that for Herman it's easy, but for the others, it's going to be interesting to see what did we do one last month after the Fanatics announcements.
Well, me and Ken done a Monday night show, but we missed last month's Halberd Roundtable. So
Because I mean, I suspect for all of us, it's going to impact us, but not nearly as much as many people. I mean, in terms of our collecting.
Yeah. Well, considering the direction of my collecting, I don't think it's going to affect me too much at all. It might affect me in the pocketbook area because I think a lot of people might do what I'm doing. As in, and this is not a Fanatics Tops thing, but like over the summertime, I just kind of threw my hands up in the air and kind of more or less said, forget modern cards and just going vintage and building vintage sets. Like because when I was a kid, I built sets. I enjoyed it when I got back into collecting. Dan knows I built Korean sets when I got back into collecting. I enjoy building sets. And then I just sort of basically, I don't enjoy trying to build one of these modern sets at the prices that modern boxes and even modern singles, like the thing is, a lot of people want $1 for this single, $1 for that single, and that's fine. But I can get a 1968 Tops common single for 20 cents. So why not work on a really old cool set, in my opinion, than something new? I don't follow sports that much either, so it's not like I'm, right on top of the players and all that. And so I don't know. It's just so I think it might actually make vintage go up in terms of prices because more people might jump ship in that direction. But whatever. I don't.
Well, I will tell you that one thing it may do is maybe not jump ship, but Topps. Then you all of a sudden you have a defined history of Topps at 75 years or whatever it is doing. Mm-hmm. So you can actually have a stopping point. And when you have a stopping point, you can figure that you can finish your collecting, so to speak. You know what it is. To me, and I've always talked about this. One of the great mistakes made in this business, and I've written about this, and there's still people at Panini that are pissed about this 20 some odd years later. And I wrote about, and by the way, the guy who created the product got fired 6 months later because he spent too much money on it. So I was right at the time on one level, and I was also right on the time in what actually happened. But I wrote about how 2001 Donruss, great product as it was, in a way killed Donruss Leaf Playoff. It was Donruss Leaf Playoff at the time because the rookie cards were one per box. You had people who had collected 81 to 98 Donruss.
Right.
And they were thrilled. 2001 Donruss, we understand what happened. We can build. They buy a box. They realize they can't finish their set.
Right.
You can't finish your set. We said, we're done with Donruss.
Yeah.
And even though they went back the next year to making sure the set was completable, they blew it by actually going for too much money immediately.
Right.
And they threw bells and whistles, and they also had, I believe, signed Pujols. I don't know if and a rookie Ichiro. Mm-hmm. They had a box top. Some boxes had box toppers of graded, buyback cards.
Right.
But people who had been collecting, the silent majority who'd collected for all those years, went away.
Yeah, yeah. And
I'm seeing cards being fans. So tell us about them.
These are the 2021 Allen and Ginter run of Merp Early. So these are all. Base. This is what's this one? What's the difference between these two? Oh, I guess these are duplicates. And then the minis, you guys know the minis. There's different mini backs. So this is just a complete run of Burley's, and this is the Brooklyn of 25. A and G back. One's numbered, one's non-numbered, and then this one is A and G back. And just the black border frame.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Well, and I think sort of what you're saying there too is sort of what drove me away from like building sets. Like so when I got back into collecting MLB was in 2017. And then in 2018 is when I started like thinking like, oh, I want to build sets again. And I built a set, and the thing was, I was just like, going to be building like, say, the cheap set, like the Series 1 set, maybe Series 2, like that, just your flagship set. And like I bought Series 1, like a hobby box, and I completed the set no problem, and in one hobby box. Well, then the Series 2 came out, and the price of the boxes, I think, had gone up like $50 compared to like what they were in Series 1. And I was just like, well, I'm not going to pay that. And then I was like, all right. So I just waited. And then the next year, the prices went up even more. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to pay that. I'm like, forget that. And then I bought a box just because, like, well, I'm going to buy some just to buy some. And I bought a box, and I ended up 50 or 60 cards short of that series of the set. And the box was like, $50, $100 more. Well, actually, it was $100 more because they had been selling it like $70 a hobby box, and I think I bought this one at like $170. And I was just like, yeah, forget that. I was like, I'm done building these modern sets. So I don't know. That's kind of what got me out of the modern sets. Just the prices going up, being more difficult to complete. And I think they're more difficult to complete because of all the parallels and stuff that they're putting in these days. So that just basically takes out a lot of the base cards that I could have, like the parallels and inserts, right? That takes away a lot of the base cards that I could have used to fill out my set. So
when a box is $70 and you're getting a parallel or an insert in every pack, that's actually a good box. That was the old Donruss Leaf playoff for many years. Their boxes were between 60 and 80, and you always felt good. Even if you didn't get any big hits, you always felt good after opening it. You had maybe one or two autograph or relic cards. You had something out of every other pack. You had the occasional short print if there were short prints. So you felt good after opening a box. I'm not saying you felt you got your money's worth. You know, you got paid back, but you felt good.
right.
And they've talked about this. They've always designed the boxes. If a box is designed to be $100 box, they try to put $100 of value worth in the box.
Right.
They're really not trying to put $40 worth of value in a $100 box. If you're paying if your SRP is $100, they want $100 in the box.
Right.
And unfortunately, if the secondary market gooses it up to 200, there's not much they can do.
Right.
You know,
and that's what we see a lot of, right? We see a lot of the secondary market, like just, and I see a lot of that based on like the big breakers. I think a lot drive that. I'm not talking about the little breakers. I'm talking about the big breakers, the ones that are putting in orders of like $500,000 an order on each release. You know what I'm saying? Like $500,000 for every release.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys right there are driving it, I think, because, you know, like they're buying up so much of the stock and they don't care because they're like, well, everybody that's buying into the break is just like, they're just paying like a low amount, right? So let's say a case costs and I'm just throwing this out, but let's say a case is only costs $5,000. Well, I'm not planning to build the set. I just want some cards from it. Okay, I'll spend $50 on a break to get like the cards out of one box out of that case that cost $5,000, and I'll be happy. And I think that's what a lot of it is. So it depends on how you collect, right?
well, and I will defend breakers to this extent that, you know, Mark's a Red Sox guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you know a good breaker, and I'll use the word good breaker, and let's say Mark wants to make sure when Topps flagship comes out next year or Topps update comes out, that he gets all the Red Sox cards. If he gets a few duplicate base cards, you know, and as long as the breaker says they send you the base cards, you know, you have to look. But if you know you're guaranteed getting all the Red Sox cards, in Mark's case, from a case, then if it's X amount of dollars, then you're only getting the team you want.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a lot of people like that. So I'm okay with the concept of breaking. I don't have a real issue with it. I think it's a boon to the hobby. I always thought it was something good. But like everything else, if it goes too far in one direction, you've got a problem.
Well, and I'll tell you, all right, so where my big problem is with the breakers is this. Let's say that 2022 Topps is coming out, okay? Let's say that 2022 Topps is selling at $100 a box, okay? Well, you've got these big breakers that are like, hey, who's buying 2022 Topps? I'm paying $400 a box for it right now. And they're doing that. And they're not even going incremental. They're just going like, you know what? I want all of it. They're being greedy, basically. I want all of it. And that's what annoys me about some of the breakers, right? It's just how they do that. How they manipulate things by, you know, and it's not just Breakers either. Blowout does the same thing. Like all those big distributors do the same thing. Oh, who's buying Sapphire? You're paying $50 a box for it. Okay, I'm giving $600 a box right now. Okay, so, and I'm not saying, the thing is, would I sell that stuff if I had it? Of course I'd sell it. I'd be stupid not to. But if I'm not, like if I'm just a person who's casually collecting, it does kind of like, you know, it annoys me a bit because it makes everything so expensive. But I don't worry too much anymore these days because, like I said, I'm going back to the past. I'm not too worried about the modern stuff.
Yeah. When Pete dropped off, I was gonna whack him on off. He happened, something happened, or he had to go. But yeah, it's like you said with the distributors. It has. I've heard people say that that's kind of a plus to the Fanatics deal.
Mm-hmm.
Is possibly cutting out distributors and preventing a lot of the price hacks or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Because I do know I had an instance to where I had ordered. Let's see, it wasn't last year? Yeah, it was. It was 2020. I bought. I pre-ordered 4 boxes of Topps Chrome. No, it was 19. I'm sorry, it was 19. I bought pre-ordered 2 boxes of Topps Chrome, and then all of a sudden, everything skyrocketed, and my order got canceled.
Right. No.
And then it was like put back up on. It was taken down off the site, put back up at twice what I had pre-ordered it for.
Right.
So,
and like I said, and that's what I think that annoys me about it. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's just one of those deals where I'm not saying that I don't get into breaks. I do get into breaks on occasion because there are some products that I'm just like, you know what, I am not going to spend that money, like in terms of like buying the box. But you know, like, okay, I would like a few Cardinals from that or something. Mm-hmm. So I will get into a break. So I get it. But the thing is, it's gotten to the point where even just the stuff that quote unquote everybody should be able to get has become unobtainable or overpriced for a lot of people. Well, like what you said, you know, I can't go into the Walmart or whatever and pick up my $20 box very much anymore, or things like that. And yeah, and that's the thing. So I don't know. Those are just my thoughts on it.
And I said 19. It was 20. I just had to think about it because it's when everything had started taking off. But my thing was, you know, and I get if they wanted to do that, that's fine. Whatever, that's on them. But
right.
When Flagship came out, I pre-ordered it at I think $80 when Series 1 Flagship came out.
Right.
And it dropped to below 60 before it was actually released. I didn't get a rebate for it.
They didn't give you no refund, did they?
You know, so it's like, if you're not going to eat it, if it goes down, then why should I eat it because it went up?
Right.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I mean, you can't do anything. You can't do anything about it because, you know, if they're saying they're out of stock or they're not going to get as much as they thought they are, you don't know what they got. So,
well, I think sometimes what you said there about they're not going to get as much as they thought they are. I think that's part of the reason why sometimes they do pound their chest out and say, like, I'm giving $500 a box for this, because they know that they can't actually get it themselves. The only way they can get it is to like overpay like 5, 6, 10 times what it actually costs to actually get it. Yeah. And then that hypes it up. And, you know, a lot of people just like, I was actually watching this one YouTube channel one time, and I don't even remember what it was. And basically, all it was talking about how much the box cost that they were opening. They didn't give a shit about what the card was. All they cared about was how much that box cost. You know? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, look at this box. It was $3,000. And it's like, yeah, it's a crap box that nobody's buying. Well, I don't care. It costs $3,000. You know, so I don't know. So yeah.
So, all right. Well, we done went about 40 minutes in now already, but
We have.
you you posted, you and Dan both have posted a question, but I want to start with yours. Was asking that would anybody
in
would
with the
anybody-
Montgomery Club. Ooh.
nice.
I didn't say anything. I wasn't
Nice.
trying to interrupt you there, but yeah, it was
Yeah, but I
today-
mean, look what today's
today's mail.
Said. Yeah.
and I got the number three. I got the third of the 20 card sets. I've already posted each of the singles on Twitter. Let's see, I've sold one.
You got what?
The 20 card sets that we get, the third one came with it, and I've already put them on Twitter and sold one.
Yay.
Yay!
Any
Okay,
red
sorry.
Who is the player you sold?
That Carlson from the Cardinals.
Oh, he had a very nice year, Dylan Carlson.
Red Sox. I think Dahlback is the only one.
So,
Mhm.
so when are you busting that set and putting them on eBay?
After they don't sell tonight.
I'll
Try to
buy
give-
the doll back. I'll buy
Oh,
the
so
doll
you're
back.
selling the set whole?
No, I'm selling the singles.
Oh,
Right.
Freeman.
And that
All right.
I think that makes sense, you know, like sell off the singles because you're player collectors or team collectors, right?
I was going to say because it seemed like the Montgomery set. It seemed like the singles for the players, if they're up early, it seemed like
Yeah.
they sell good.
And that's why I want to put them up. But yeah, I mean, this set's interesting. It's not got Tatis in there, but there's no Trout, no Acuna. I don't know who else, I guess, but it is seems to be about maybe a half dozen rookies, maybe a little bit more, maybe more like 9 rookies out of the 20 card set.
Right.
Oh, you're selling the singles off of that set. I was talking about the Montgomery top set.
Oh yeah, those. No, I still have my set from last year, and I'm going to keep this one. I mean, I know I'm not a baseball collector, and I'm not a set builder or collector, but in the day I was. So I guess it gives me that little bit of nostalgia to, kind of keep them. Now, if 10 years from now they're going for $1,000, I might be inclined to move them.
Right.
But of course, then $1,000 may only buy me half a box of Fanatics cards. But
Might get you 3 packs out of a blaster by that time.
So anyway, back to what
Yeah,
we're
but it may,
saying.
it may
I'll buy
get
the-
you some really, it may
I'll buy
get
the
you some
dollar
really
card,
cool
yeah.
whatever that T racing set is, T36 or whatever one it is.
man, if they're ever available.
Well, yeah, that's a small problem, isn't it? They don't show up very much.
Yeah. Hey, just sold the Mount Castle and the Tatis.
I'll buy the doll back if it's still there.
Yeah, I'm gonna put on the Dahlback that it's sold. Anyway,
There
I'll
you
let
go.
Herman get back to where he was before I so rudely interrupted.
Oh no, we like
That's
that
fine.
interruption. We want to see more of that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. But George and Dan both had posted something in the DM about a question to bring up tonight, and I want to start with George's. But his was, do you or would you binder autographs or serial number cards? And I think you said you were doing it, right?
Yeah. So I have some player binders. And IPC, like one of the people that I player collect is Jack Flaherty. All right. Now, Jack Flaherty's a pitcher. So that means even though he's a good pitcher, a lot of times his cards aren't necessarily that expensive. His autographs might only be $5 or $10. Like parallels might only be $2 or $3. I don't see the need to put something like that in a top loader or something like that. Why not just throw it in my binder that I have, because I got a binder of his cards. So so I have like autographs, like Jack Flaherty autographs. I have Jack Flaherty number cards. Also, but not even just him. Like I have in my Pujols binder, I have serial numbered Pujols cards. I don't have any autographs in there. I don't even have a Pujols autograph. So And I wouldn't put that in there. Now, I think a lot of it comes down to me, like value. If you're talking about, say, $20-$30 or under, all right, cool. If we're talking about, say, getting up to $100 or something like that, no, I'd rather not binder it. I'd rather like put it in a top loader or something like that. It's sort of the way I feel about it. So it really, I think, comes down to value for me more so than just like, oh, all autographs go in like a top loader, all serial numbers go in a top loader. I know some people do that, and that's totally cool. And I used to do that, actually. It's just that doing it in the binder, I think, makes it better for me. And when I say binder, I use like what Ken uses, I use the Ultra Pro binders. You use the Z Folios or whatever, is what Ken uses. They're the same thing, just two different companies, basically. And I like those for like just player collections. So.
Well, I think you answered your question, though. It's an individual choice.
Oh,
we
yeah,
have a Mark Burley collector, and to me, whether he puts it in a binder or, he was showing us the Allen and Ginter minis in their card savers, and whether he has a box of every Mark Burley card in card savers, several boxes, that's an individual choice of how you want to store your cards. And so there's nothing wrong with either of your way of doing it. And that's the beauty of the hobby, is that, hey, how about that? There you go. And that's the beauty of the hobby, is that there's no wrong decision on this.
Right.
And I think the reason why I thought about that question was simply because I used to be like, okay, all serial numbers, all autographs, all of that always have to be like in a top loader or something more than just a binder. And I think that's what made me think about that question, because now I've just kind of changed to where it's like, okay, this is a $5 autograph. Okay, throw it in the binder. Okay, this is a $1 like serial number parallel. Throw it in the binder. So I think that's sort of what.
Real quick, Dan, your Burley box and my Freeman box look a lot alike.
Yeah, I just have single rows. I don't have any double rows. I ordered 2 boxes last time, but the ones I have, the boxes are a little taller than they should be. One second, let me show you. All right. So this is the BCW vault storage box that I have, and the most recent ones I bought were a tad bigger, which I don't like. See, this one's a little taller.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was ordering this size, but this size came, so I'm kind of disappointed.
So what is that one for?
Mark, is that Jim Lonborg? It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
this
one's the whole page.
Right, this one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, usually
is that for like PSA graded?
PSA, graded cards. But I think graded might fit in this one too. Well, maybe not. Yeah. I didn't realize I was grading this size.
Right. Welcome, Diego.
Hey, what's up,
Hey,
guys?
Diego.
Got here late.
That's okay. That's okay. We're happy to have you.
That's all right. I was listening the whole time.
You can't help
just
what
like-
the kids do.
Kids and teenagers. Dad, I need to be picked up now. Dude, I was just about to go live.
Ooh, a PSA is very nice.
Very nice.
Is that the Venezuela? Nice.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Wow, that looked like a pretty strong condition for a Venezuelan too. I mean, that didn't look like a one from what I couldn't see the holder, but that looked like a pretty nice Venezuelan card.
Are most of the Venezuelans, in your experience, are they lower grade? I'm going to assume. I feel like what I've seen has been.
Yeah.
Most Venezuelans, remember, are put into albums
Yes,
and they're taken out. So most of them are probably between like 1s and 2s.
Gotcha.
And so you can have nice Venezuelans. I mean, like when John Ramirez brings his Venezuela, he didn't this year, but when John Ramirez brings his Venezuelans to the National, because he actually went to Venezuela back in the day, he's got better conditioned ones.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I say better conditioned, well, I'm not talking near mint to mint. I'm talking VGX or X.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have one Venezuelan. I bought
Most
it
of
as an
them-
impulse buy, and yeah, it's I think a 2 or something like that.
A lot of them have back damage because of the glue.
Right, because they were put into
Quantity is
albums.
pretty good.
Oh,
You know,
hey,
they were-
Yeah,
mine's actually right here. Yeah, it's a 2. Mike
so,
De La
De La
Hoz.
Hose, baby.
Oh, De
He's
La
like-
Hoz.
He's like, I know he's a second
That's-
series card. I don't remember the number, but it's like 140 something or something like that.
1, 2, 3, I think, but the back actually looks pretty solid on it.
that's good. Yeah, a lot. That's one of the years where the back is in Venezuelan. 'Cause they're not
Well,
always-
62 is interesting because they do the first 2 series in 62, and then like the last 3 cards are the Venezuelan people in the major leagues. There's an Elio Chacon in that set that's not related to the same card numbers, and there's I think 2 other Venezuelans.
In general, it actually looks like it's in good condition. I haven't, I've never actually sat here and looked at it.
T207 mark. I'm trying to do that from
yeah,
distance.
it just came in today.
A T207.
Joe Wood. Smoky
Oh
Joe
wow,
Wood, yeah.
beautiful card. It doesn't matter what condition it is, it's beautiful.
I got my first T207 a couple weeks ago off of the Vintage Baseball thread on Twitter, that Wednesday night thread. Hey, so you guys, if you haven't seen it, on Friday nights, I do a Friday night vintage football thread. There's a Wednesday night baseball that Cards Story does,
Who is that?
and then Cards Story, CARDS STORY. Wednesday nights he does a vintage baseball buy sell trade thread, and it does a lot. And I'm doing a football Friday, and there's some other guys that are doing different sports or different things throughout the week. Tonight there's an unopened wax one going on, so just keep your eye out for those. Or if any of you are interested, just shoot me a DM, or just tag me and ask me who's doing what, and I'll get that to you. But yeah, I picked up a T207 Hooks Wiltsey or something.
A New York Giants pitcher.
I picked that up. I think a PSA. It was either PSA or an SGC. I got it for $35 delivered.
T207 is
I
a very
still need 2
underrated
Red Sox.
set. I mean, there are not a lot of T207s compared to even, definitely not compared to 6s, but not even compared to 5s. You will see less 7s than you will 5s.
Yeah, that's literally the reason I bought it. Is I just didn't know that much about it, and I know that, in the vintage groups that I'm in and stuff like that, you just don't see them come. And I'm like, $35 for a graded one, when grading now is like $150.
That's a good deal.
I've talked about this somewhere, and I may be exaggerating slightly, but I have sold since the beginning of the year every graded card I have that's less than $20.
Yeah.
Because as has been pointed out, is that when grading settles back to normal, probably sometime next year, we're figuring the odds are that it will probably cost you $25 or $30 will be the new price to send the card in to be graded. I'm not talking about today's world where they're just trying to clean the backlog. We're talking about once the backlog is cleared.
I agree. So I'm sitting here looking at a card that on eBay that ends in less than 7 minutes. It's a 1987 Topps Donald Igwebike PSA 10. What should I make my max bid on that?
Do you want it?
Yes.
Why would you want it? Do you go to West Virginia?
You're gonna have to start watching my YouTube channel, Rich.
Dude, I have limited time. You know what I spend my time listening to? I spend my time listening to radio programs.
I know. No, I'm getting very nostalgic. 87 was the first year I collected.
Well, that's right. Okay.
I'm actually going to passively start working on the 87 Topps football graded set.
Oh, cool. That's an amazing. I love that Lou Brock card. 67 Venezuelan.
Yeah, the knockoff, the bootleg Venezuelans, because they weren't supposedly printed or authorized by Topps. They were by Sportifico or something like that was the name.
Right. And there is an actual Venezuelan series in 67, like the first 110 or 130 cards or whatever it is, are actually a Venezuelan series.
Right.
And I mean, there's the coolest card in that is the first card of, and there may be another guy, I think maybe Davey Concepcion has a first card in there, but Hall of Famer Bobby Cox has a first card in there.
Yeah, that's his first card in there. Yeah.
And I think Concepcion has a first card in there too. I'm going from memory, so memory is
Yeah, he does. The reason why I know is because I just read about because I was just doing a bit of research the other day about the set and
because
and that was.
I mean, I remember we cataloged that card. We cataloged those cards when I was at Beckett. So that tells you how long ago it is.
Right.
And it was guys out of Houston who got me the information on it.
Right.
And I remember Paul Sloan, SJOLIN, got me the information because he and the buddies, I think they're Shoebox. They got the cards, and okay, I want that information. I don't. We traced the pricing, but there's like one card in that group that there's like been one discovered, like card number 94. There's been one card discovered of it, and we're pretty sure Oberman owns it.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know that because the company that printed these is basically like the Sports Illustrated of Venezuela. Essentially, it was like a magazine company that made essentially. Like I said, I think the name of it was like Sportifico or something. I don't remember exactly, but I just remember I remember reading about it, and I was like, that's actually pretty cool. And it was how that. Well, and another reason why that they feel like basically that these were also bootleg, basically never authorized by Topps, was because of the way that they were released, like basically some of the stuff like these, I believe these were released way after the actual sets were released, which basically gave them time to get the cards maybe and make their own copy of the card and then print it later, just basically knock off.
So since we're kind of been showing off some the ready cards, we got a question in chat from DR. It was, what do you consider the inherent value of slab cards? Not the information, but the actual slab technology to protect the card. What's that worth? What do y'all think? I guess he means like the cost of the slab and to seal it. I think that's what it's.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I would say $5, and I say that because it's it's more than say $3 is like what you'd pay for a one touch.
Mm-hmm.
So I consider this better than a one touch.
Okay.
5 to 7 in that range, just because I think it is worth getting it done for the protective aspect of it. So
I would actually say the Beckett holder on that level is probably worth even more because it's a real hassle to open up those. That's the hardest of all the companies to open up the holders of. PSA's got it much better. Mm-hmm. SGC's got a pretty good holder, but the Beckett holder has been made out of really thick stuff. So, if a PSA holder is worth 5, then Beckett's probably worth 7 or 10, just on the basis of what, on that level.
Right.
And so,
and that's the thing. I just think about it that's why I often say that I wish that there was a company that would let you just send your cards in, charge you $5 a piece, and do what Herman's doing right there. Show it, Herman. Yep.
Me and Dan done this. Now I'm not factoring in the time that he spent. Hold on, because I know he spent some time on the label, but
anything for you, babe.
Dan done the label. It has the right here. It kind of has the holographic, the Freddie Freeman in his bat swing.
Mm-hmm.
But me and Dan done this in a couple of hours.
Yeah, more or less.
The label. Case cost me $2.
Right.
So now, granted, I don't have a ultrasonic welder to actually seal it correctly, but I did use UV glue.
Right.
Which is, it's not the same thing, but it's kind of the same thing.
Right.
But
and I think that's something that's actually been brought up several times before on Twitter, where I know that people have talked about, like, do you think people would be interested if I wanted to spend the $5,000 to get the ultrasonic welding machine?
Mhm.
Would people be interested in paying me $5 a card to just
Just to
print
slab.
off labels and just slab them?
Mhm.
And a lot of people said yes, and I think that people would.
I saw somebody, I can't remember if it was Facebook or Twitter, that was already doing that. I mean, that's literally all they were just slabbing them in slabs like this. Now, I don't know how they were sealing them. I don't know if they were sealing them with the welder or
Right.
if he was doing something kind of like what I did. But I mean, this is for me. This is not going to go up for sale. This has been on my shelf. That's where I just got it from. I got it off my shelf to show off. But
Right.
I don't know. I mean, because what at $5 a piece, not considering the fact of the cost of the case, how many
Right.
would you have to do to even break even on the welder?
I mean, at $5 a piece,
1,000?
you'd have to do 1,000 to just to pay the.
But you
cost
might
of the
also
welder.
have cards of your own you want to do. That's one of
Right.
these cases where
Sure.
some of it might be. Yes, you want to get your money back, but like for example, if I'm setting up at a show and I'm not really worried about super grading the card, but I want to protect some cards even better, it may be worth for me as a vendor $5 on a card to get it into a much more secure holder than even a semi-rigid or what they call a top loader, with a plastic sleeve. I'm okay with that. That's a 72, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes.
That's cool. Some of them use the real 72 photos, and some of them use that. I don't remember if that's the exact 72 photo, but some of them use the real 72 photos.
So I was going to say,
That's
based on what
as well, and too.
Nice.
based on what Rich said, saying about, PSA versus Beckett versus what, Beckett being higher, I actually disagree. And the reason for me is it's a combination of protection, but also for me, it's aesthetics. It's how the
Yeah.
things look. And Beckett is the ugliest of all slabs.
But I'm not talking, Ken. I'm not talking about the label there. We're not presuming the label. We're talking about the actual materials used for the card.
And I'm saying that Beckett is too thick and they are not crisp and clear.
And I'm arguing that it's so thick that it's worth more because it gives you better. I mean, trust me, I was still there in those days. The friggin' Beckett graded card survived Hurricane Katrina. I don't even think the PSA cards could have done that, but they actually had Beckett cards that survived Hurricane Katrina.
That's fine, but that's not what I value. What I value is everything looking good and looking nice and looking clean, and I can take good photographs. I can have good scans, and that's what and again, that's a person to person thing.
Exactly.
I do agree what you say. If I was living in Galveston, I would probably want all of my cards graded by BGS because of the humidity. So,
Right.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I'm just saying that personally, that's what it is. In DR, you said picking up Chicago Cardinals. I got this in the mail this week. I haven't done my videos for the week, so nobody's seen this. So I have been in a very nostalgic stage lately. I've talked about that with Herman on the show. But I've been getting into a lot of old NFL films stuff, and I found it on YouTube. And just in my playlist, I've got all of these NFL films, but I picked up a 2-card lot, but he said Chicago Cardinals. So there's your Chicago Cardinals Hall of Famer, Ollie Matson. But he was in one of the videos, and I just, liked, all that. I didn't really know a lot about him, so I jumped on the old eBay and added that to my collection.
Was
So I
it the
just thought I'd
Rams
throw
that
that out there.
traded like
expression
15
on
guys
his
to get Ollie Matson?
I think they traded about a handful.
They traded a bunch of guys
Yeah.
for Ollie Matson. I mean, it's
I wanna
Ollie
say-
Matson, I believe, I don't know if it was a gold medal or a medal, but he won a medal at the 52 Olympics.
Yeah, he actually was in the Olympics before he was in the NFL. They mentioned that. And then I think, yeah, maybe I was wrong when I said maybe like 4 or 5 because I feel like I realized maybe they said it was the most players traded for until the Herschel Walker trade.
Yeah, it's insane. Ollie,
So
I'm looking him up on Wikipedia.
I got it. Following the 1958 season, Mattson was traded by the Cardinals to the league's marquee franchise, the Los Angeles Rams, for 9 players.
Nah, okay.
We got Dan jumping on Google.
That's actually in Wikipedia. He also won a bronze medal at the 52 Olympics. And a silver is part of the 4x400. So he's got 2 medals.
And that card came with another one that I wasn't necessarily interested in, but it was funny because they had mentioned him in that same NFL Films episode. I just love this set. I love this vintage football set. It's one of the I think it might be the earliest that has the action photos, even though they're small and in black and white. And of course, I love black bordered sets. I love 71 Topps. I love 85 Topps football. I know most people hate them, but yeah, I've definitely been nostalgic, and I'm turning to the dark side. I'm getting more and more PSA stuff, but I will address such subjects on my channel in the upcoming weeks.
There you go.
I blame it on Dan.
In all honesty, I don't have a problem. I am pro grading on the general level, but I'm also pro grading because for reasons having nothing to do with that. It's that, let's say Kin and Crystal, let's say they had to move somewhere, and let's say something happened to their cards in transit. If you have graded cards and you've knocked down what they are, it makes the insurance claims go a lot easier. It also makes it a lot easier to track anything that might accidentally develop 5 fingers and take a stroll or walk away.
Well, and
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It also gives you a better feeling of security about the card. It's also much harder to damage a card in a PSA case, or a Beckett case, or an SGC case, or a CSG case.
Yeah, and if you do, it's basically catastrophic, and there was nothing that was going to prevent it anyway. Well, for me, and I've had this conversation, I don't remember if Herman and I talked about it on the show or what, but the reality is I have a stepson, but he's not into sports. He's got his own thing, music, and that's great, and that's fine, no worries. But at some point, I'm probably going to go before Crystal does, and she's going to be the one that's left trying to figure out how she's going to get rid of these things. And it's a heck of a lot easier when something's graded. Like, I've got more than 100 T206 cards. It's hard to get a, gauge on those without them being graded to know maybe what they should go for, unless you're somebody that, there's guys that can do it and they have a great idea, but for somebody that's more of a novice and maybe just more, picks them up sometimes as an afterthought, I can't look at it and tell
you're right. One of our local collectors, you may or may not know him by. I knew him by name and by face. I may not have known him that well, but he died of COVID a couple weeks ago.
Hold on, Diego.
And his daughter posted. His daughter posted about trying to sell his stuff.
Yeah.
And I posted, look, you're welcome to come visit me in my office. I will. If you want to, you're welcome to come visit me in my office. With Kyle's show 2 weeks from now, if you want, that's a great way to do things. But I said, you're welcome to visit me and I'll help you. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
My one of my roles is to make sure that you try to get as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have done a good job in that she knows if something happens to me, she knows who to go to.
I better be one of those names, son.
Well, it's a lot right now. So yeah. She knows you. So I've got a few people, and then the people that I'm consigning with, they know if something were to happen to me, they know her, they know how to get a hold of her. So, she can get, payment for any of my stuff. So I put a little thought into that, but yeah, that's part of the thing with the grading, especially when you're talking like vintage or something like that. Not so much worried about that on anything that should roughly be come out of your pack as a PSA 9.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Dan,
Yeah,
what?
I saw the DR thing. I know DR bought that card after he saw Dr. Beckett talk about buying the Ollie Matson on one of the shows he was on.
Oh.
Because DR asked about it. I think it may have been Hobby Hotline, and DR asked about the Chicago Cardinals, and Jim answered, and Jim enjoyed it actually. Being jogged in his memory about how hard the 56 Cardinals were for him to get, and how Ollie Matson was one of the last cards he needed.
Well, I'm sure that Dr. Beckett likes getting. I mean, all the he's been around the circuit, the podcast, the web shows circuit, and he gets asked pretty much the same thing on almost every one. So I'm sure he enjoys getting asked that. And when he was on that the 70s card show a few weeks ago, that was one of my most enjoyable conversations that I've heard with him, because they talked about being kids and a lot of the back stuff, not just the business itself. And I knew that Dr. Beckett, I knew he had lived in Pittsburgh. I didn't know he had lived in West Virginia. He mentioned that he liked WVU as a kid because he lived in Wheeling. I had no idea until that interview.
Well, you also liked when John interviewed me for the same reason, that he dug into the younger, which I think that's where you develop your collecting gene from. If you've got it as a kid, you're going to keep it as an adult. And John's very good. I had a wonderful time on his show.
And I think everybody on this panel enjoy the part of the hobby that they really enjoy is the stories, the who, the what, the why do you collect, the how. Everybody enjoys that and likes hearing. And I'm that same way.
Was it you that was involved in the Twitter thread when we talked about how we never really took a hiatus from the hobby, but we weren't as actively involved at some times?
I don't remember that per se, but that's 100% me. My couple years straight out of college, were pretty lean years for me because I was just getting started in adulthood and, paying all my own bills, living by myself. So I don't know if I commented on that in particular, but yeah. But, like I said, that's what I loved about that interview with Dr. Beckett. And yeah, when you talked with John, I love hearing all the backstories. I love hearing why Herman wants to collect, why he's working on the 1970s.
Herman's working on the 72 set. He couldn't have been born in a better year to get a challenging set to try to complete card by card.
DR, he mentioned something here, and this is almost exactly why that I do what I do, the way I collect, as far as building the birth year sets for my grandkids. He said that he did ask Dr. Beckett on Hobby Hotline, said his dad's a huge Chicago Cardinal fan, and he's slowly trying to build the collection out for him. He said it provides a connection to him, even though he passed 16 years ago.
That's awesome.
And that's
wonderful.
That's exactly why that I do the sets that I do, because when I'm gone, like I said, they may not have no value as far as price, but the fact that they were hand built by me, you never know. I may be gone tomorrow, and I have grandkids that are 3 years and less. They're not going to remember me per se, but they'll have those and know that it was something that I did, and they'll have these, which was one of the big reasons why I kept doing the YouTube videos, was because of those back pages. Eric, something that he'd said on I can't remember it was either Dr. Beckett or John's podcast where he was talking about how somebody was talking about doing videos or stop doing videos, and he's like, well, do you have kids? It's something for them to look back on years to come, because once on the internet, always on the internet. It's always there.
I once wrote about there were two Rube Walkers that were coaches at the same time in the majors. One of them was a Chicago Cubs coach, and his daughter, and this was 10 years ago, but I remember writing in Sports Collectors Daily about how his daughter was seeking to try to get an audio tape of the Rube Walker that was a Chicago Cubs coach, because they had no audio on him. They had no video on him, and she just really wanted to hear his voice. He never, he died when she was 3 years old. So, the beauty for us is that, as you said, this is, assuming the YouTube stays, this will last a long time.
Right.
Eric, from those back pages, that same thing with resonated with me too, because I took a break from the. Actually, I deleted my whole channel, my first channel, and when I came back, I was just like that. What Eric said resonated with me, and then what happened? It happens in a few sessions. You know, my oldest son was like, he lives in Florida. He's like, Dad, what happened to your channel? I don't see it anymore. I just missed your voice. I wanted to check it out, and I was like, I deleted the whole thing, and he was like, why? And then my youngest son was going around, and with my channel, I usually have like an intro, and that intro, my son sings all the time. My youngest son, he's like baseball card fever, and so that collecting for or making the videos for YouTube is not just to share with you guys. Like, I appreciate that you guys will watch that, but it's also just for memory for what this stuff is. Like Roberto Clemente, my dad didn't pass, but they very similar features. They look the same. That's my dad's favorite player, so he sits there. And now I have Ryan Sandberg, who's my favorite player, and my kids know that. So they're just like, oh, that's Grandpa's favorite player, and that's Dad's favorite player. And then my son goes, well, I like Toronto Blue Jays. So who's my favorite player? And I said, you have to watch baseball to figure that out.
So, Diego, real quick, you showed something earlier in the frame. What was that?
Oh, I had a Jay Johnstone autograph. And I never had I wanted to put like some baseball cards with it. And I just found the 1975 Jay Johnstone with the Phillies. So I was like, oh, let me get that in there while I'm here. And I just got happy about it. And I just put it up to show it.
So that's something you put together.
Yeah, this is something I'm going to put together. I try to find some other Phillies Jay Johnstone cards with it.
Okay.
So I was going to say two things. One was to Diego, and I think I've copied this. I think I've said this at least once, maybe twice, but maybe I haven't. My wife absolutely loves your Open. It's by far her favorite. She loves her some Beach Boys, and it sounds through the Beach Boys.
That's who made it. Jeffrey Fawcett from the Beach Boys.
Oh, okay. I got to tell her that. Yeah, she loves
where
it.
that song came from.
She kind of chuckles even more now because I've been watching everybody's videos on 1.5 speed. So you speed it up, it sounds a little funny. And I was going to say, if DR is still watching, do you make videos? And if you do, will you go comment on one of my videos so I can have a link to your channel so that I can watch yours? Because if you're collecting old college football, I want to be in on that. So if you can just comment on one of my videos. Sometimes I have trouble finding channels when it's just a couple of letters or their spaces. I have trouble searching those as well. Mine's pretty easy because it's all that one big word. But yeah, I'd love to find some more vintage football channels. Vintage period, but specifically vintage football.
All right.
Yeah.
I return the floor.
Yes, you're good.
So what about that early question that George had about if you ever got that card that you wanted? I see mine's right here, so that's why I asked.
Yeah, no, that's what I was just about to bring up. The other question that was brought up in the DMs was from actually it was from Dan, right?
Dan.
What question?
Who was it?
I don't think I submitted anything.
Was it not you, or was it George?
Maybe some other day. I don't know. I think
What's
George.
up?
Did you submit two?
Yeah, I put.
Yeah, it was George. I'm sorry. So, what was your childhood dream card, and did you ever get it? So
Right. Well, I mean, I can start off, and then we want to I'll start off, and then we can kind of go around or whatever you want to do there.
that's fine.
Okay. Well, for me, my childhood dream card was the 1968 Nolan Ryan, because I was a Nolan Ryan collector. Like childhood, I was a set builder and a Nolan Ryan player collector. That's what I did. So I always wanted the 68 Ryan rookie. I never got it, but as of a couple of weeks ago, I decided I was going to build the 68 set. So as a result, I will have to have that Ryan rookie to complete my set Eventually. Not in any rush, but sometime in the future. So
Okay.
that's what I wanted, but I don't have it. But I hope to have it.
Okay.
So,
So what? All right. What year did you start collecting?
the year I started collecting would have been 86.
Okay.
Yeah, 86. I remember those were the first cards that I had were the 86 tops. 86 tops. That was kind of when I started. 87 is when I really got into it. So I had a ton of the wood. Maybe that's the reason why I'm so drawn to say the wood borders and the burlaps and stuff, is because 87 maybe was like the big year for me. Like I got started in 86, but 87 was the year, I think. So
you
maybe that's
couldn't
the
have
reason
picked a
why-
much better year to get really started.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the reason why, like, I'm so much more into, these types of sets with the weird borders and such.
Couldn't agree more. Because I'm the same way. I love those 55 Bowmans. At one time, I had a thought of doing that as well. And Herman, it's weird. You said you started collecting in '86, kind of went full more in '87. Isn't that what you said too, Herman?
I
Or am I
actually
thinking of somebody else?
started- Yeah, I started in '86. I got my first.
Okay.
I got my first cards in '85,
Okay.
which was, and it's always sitting right here with me, but was the '84 Murphy.
Right.
It's the one card that I've held on to and will always hold on to, but it wasn't necessarily my childhood card that I just absolutely wanted. Mine was the and I know we're skipping around, but mine was the 90 Leaf Frank Thomas, because back I had always like collected Murphy, but as we got into the late 80s 90s, when Frank Thomas started playing, he was like the player I collected more than anybody. The 90 Leaf was the one I wanted. But at the time, that was the card to have, other than the 89 Upper Deck Griffey. But I actually never did get that card. Till this day, I still have never owned one. And I told somebody that I wasn't going to tell what it was until tonight, because it was kind of silly that I don't have it now, because I think now you can get it for about $20.
Right.
But
I bought that set the day it came out. That 89.
I do have the I think it's the 5th anniversary version.
Right.
But as far as the 90 Leaf, I never got it. But
And I'm pretty sure Mark doesn't sell, so you still have that set, right?
Which one?
That
The
you
Upper
said
Deck
that
set?
that
Yeah, I
one.
still have it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think you sold, so that one you got the day of. Yeah, I figured you still had it.
what was that? The 89 Upper Deck?
My buddy and I went to the card store that morning and bought it. It was a big deal.
Well,
$50.
and you have to remember, in '89, you could still afford to buy all the sets each. They were all, you could afford. I mean, Topps was 25 at the card store. Fleer was 20 or 25. Donruss,
Upper Deck packs were $1 a pack, and everybody thought that was high.
right?
I did.
I mean, it was $150, and you could buy all 5 major sets.
You kidding me? $1 a pack? What?
My mom wouldn't buy them for me because they were $1 packs. She's like, I can get you 3 of the other packs.
Yep.
So my first and only ever factory set is somewhere at home, and I've got to try to find it when I go home this winter. It's a 1989 Fleer factory set.
Ooh.
My mom bought it for me for Christmas, and it's somewhere at the house, still in the box. Now I opened it up, right? I mean, like I took the wrapper off, but it's the box set, so we all know it's got the Griffey in there, right? So that's pretty cool. Like,
And the Ripken is a black box. The Ripken's not going to have anything more than a black box.
right, yep. So yeah, Yep, got the rip. on there.
By the way, I went into my closet. I want to show this.
That was probably my second one. The F-face bat.
So what do we got there, Rich?
I've been asked about this, and I've mentioned this. This is a plaque made for me of the only player ever from my hometown, Joe Cunningham. My late friend, Ernie Montella, I sent up the cards to him at a show. And one of my Beckett teammates at the time, I said, just tell Ernie I want to have this done. And I got an address, and the guy says, are you sure you know what you're doing? I said, yeah, I'm sure I know what I'm doing. And Ernie, you can't see it all, but Ernie did an amazing job. With the cards, he found the little pennants of the 3 teams he played for. And you got you've got the 55 doubleheader, and and he found an 8x10 autograph photo. And it's like, the one item I'll own that will go to the grave with me. That and Tater Top will be in the grave with me.
Right.
So what was your dream car as a kid, Rich? Is that
it's funny. I was thinking about that, and I don't know if I ever had it. Remember, I started when you could almost get all the dream cards you wanted.
True.
And so the one card I always came up a little short buying, and it was like $250 in '89 when I had extra money, and I never went aggressive enough to pull the trigger, and it would have only been a couple $100 as a 51 Bowman mantle.
Right.
And that's because I wasn't aggressive enough. But I never really had that type of, needing a childhood dream card because I owned so many friggin' cards. I had built a very nice collection until I became a full-time dealer. And so I never had, 68 Nolan Ryan. Yeah, I had them. I've had like 3 or 4 in my life. I had an OPG. I think I never had a Venezuelan.
You should have gave it to me then.
Yes, sorry.
Would have made me a happy kid.
Sorry, what could I tell you? 52 mantle. I remember the first time I ever saw a 52 mantle. My old friend Lou Lipset had what they used to call a terafold, which is what was used in the stamp and coin world. And I'm seeing him, I'm showing, and he had that card with the card as a 52 mantle, and it was like $500 at the time. And I had never seen one. And it was like, I can't afford that. I'm in college.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, that, in a way, that was a dream card. 52 high numbers were dream cards for me. But when I broke, as I said, when I broke my collection to become a dealer, I had 25 different 52 high numbers. The first one I ever had was Smokey Burgess.
Right.
So, I got most of the dream cards I needed. I've handled most of them. There's really not much that I would say, okay, this card I really, really need. Okay, I've never handled or owned a 33 Gaudi Ruth card of any sort. Maybe that could be a dream card because those were accessible. I've never owned a T206 or handled a T206 Cobb in any way. Maybe that's a dream card.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about fantasy dreams.
Right.
So I don't know. I really don't know what my dream card would have been. That's a great question. Because if you're in the 60s and in the 70s, when you're collecting the 70s, you can afford to get most of the stuff, so you really don't have dream cards. You can actually get them.
Right.
Unlike
apparently, according to my mom,
unlike getting them in the 2020s, some of them.
According to my mom, she chewed the bubble gum and threw away every dream card that was ever made. So.
So, Rich, what year did you start collecting?
68. And I had a random assortment. I must have bought a couple 67 penny packs because I remember I had a Tito Fuentes card and a Don Clendenin card. So I must have bought a high number. I must have been bugging my parents, and they bought me a few penny packs here and there, 67. But 68 third series is when I really began. What's amazing, if you're beginning 68 third series, you have Yaz and Mantle in that series. And then you have Harmon Killebrew and Orlando Cepeda, and I believe Juan Marichal. And oh God, and so many other. I mean, that series is loaded. I mean, if you're going to begin, you might as well begin with probably the best series in terms of overall quality of the players Topps put into any series. And I collected 3 to 5 in 60, in 68, 69. I actually finished the set through packs, or I thought I did. It turned out I needed 2 cards, but I basically collected the whole set in 69s. We would go up to Maine like every other year for the summer or for a few weeks. And we found last 2 series packs. And the other thing that excited me when I was in Maine, and Mark will get a laugh out of that, I found like 3 or 4 different Red Sox, like 66 to 69 Red Sox yearbooks. I don't have them anymore, so I'm sure Mark has them. But I mean, it was fun reading the yearbook.
I probably have the exact one.
What? Well, yeah. I mean, I even owned, I sold them all when the market got hot, but I had all the Mets yearbooks. I mean, in the 60s Mets yearbooks, you have like 4th revised edition of some of the 65s and 64s where they made so many player changes. Mm-hmm. So I had a great yearbook collection. I mean, so as I said, in the 70s, you could do all sorts of funky stuff.
Right. So, Dan, what was your dream card as a kid? He got it.
He got it.
He's got it.
Don Mattingly. I've got that one too. What is that graded?
9.
9? Oh, okay.
I have 2 9s. I have 1 for sale.
Mark, it's not a dream card because I owned it, but Mark, and I talked about this earlier, I've talked about this in the pack. Mark actually owns a card that, of course, I threw them away in those days, but I actually ate Yaz bread, and it's the bread label that we all thought didn't exist. Is like, it was always a fantasy card for me all those years I was at Beckett. I just wanted to get one so I could catalog it, maybe, or get one in a photo. That was like a chase card. When he showed it to me, it's like, oh, thank God somebody has it.
Mm-hmm. So Dan, did you was that something you acquired when you was younger, like when you wanted it, or did you pick it up later in?
I later in life. I think when I started recollecting in like 2012, that's when I picked it up.
Okay.
I think I bought it raw and submitted and got a 9.
I think that's how most of us did for some of those cards.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So what year did you?
If I were to try and collect more manuals, I'd probably want to try and get a Tiffany in a high grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What year did you start collecting?
1986, I think. And then, like what George said, 87 is when I started really collecting stuff.
Right. Yeah, that sounds a lot like me, because even though I got my first card in 85 cards, and then started kind of dabbling in it and got into it in 86. But my first, as far as opening packs, 87 was when I had started opening packs, and was like, it was nonstop.
One of the most vivid memories of me when I was collecting in the 80s is when I've been biting my nails all my life, but my friend had nice pristine nails, and we'd always search the rack packs for the trophy cup cards. and he'd be looking for the Canseco or the McGuire.
Yeah. All right. So Mark, I'm sure you got yours.
Well, I have it now. I started in like 69, but I always wanted a Ted Williams from his playing days, which I've got a bunch of them now. I probably got all of them now. But
right.
Besides that, it was just own a tobacco card, which
right
you couldn't find anywhere. As now I have the Red Sox, but just to find a tobacco card was something that I wanted to do as a little kid. I even have old periodicals that I still have from like Kit Young and Sports Hobbyist, where I have them all circled. I was going to buy them, and I never did. And they were like a nickel a piece, but
right.
back in like 75. It was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I mean, as a kid, you might have $4 to spend on cards for the whole week.
So what you needed that right there. You could have like gone shopping big time.
I could have bought half.
Eisenhower silver dollar, baby.
Yep. Could have gone shopping big time with that. So
And Rich, with that bread label, there's also a placemat that goes with it. That
Okay.
looks like it. Which
All right,
That's
so
good.
Diego,
something to
you,
track.
That's good to know.
so Diego,
I'll
you
send you a
said you
picture.
had yours sitting there by you. So,
Yeah.
what was your childhood dream for?
There you go.
Oh.
Ryan Sandberg, 89 Fleer.
Okay.
Or sorry, 83 Fleer. I don't know why I said 89. I was thinking of like the question was when did you start collecting? I was like 89, but 83 Ryan Sandberg. I remember seeing this on it was Raw, and my mom actually went to go. I don't know if she was talking for my brother or if she went to school for me, but I happened to go to the gym and they were having like a card show, and I passed by the Ryan Sandberg card, and I saw the blue uniform, and I was like, the Cubs don't have a blue uniform, do they? Oh wow! And then I said, it's Ryan Sandberg. Oh wow! And then I saw the price tag, and I was like, oh, well, I'm never gonna own that. And I just walked on. It's been in the memory banks, and I got the Topps version pretty early, and then I just recently, well, not recently, but when I came back, that's one of the first cards I started looking for was the Fleer 83. So I got that, and then I also picked up the Don West, and now I'm just trying to go through the whole rookie run of Ryan Sandberg cards now.
Okay. So you still prefer the 83 Fleer over his other rookies like the Topps or
That was just one that I saw, and it was like I instantly fell in love with the card, and was like I want that card, and it always stayed in my memory banks of him, the way he was batting and the blue uniform. It just stayed in my mind.
Mhm.
And when I came back into collecting, I was just like, I want to get that right. Well, it's actually when I decided I'm going to go with being a player collector of Ryan Sandberg that I said I need that card. I can't be a Ryan Sandberg collector without that card.
So which one do you like better now of his rookies? What's your favorite?
I still like this Fleer.
Still the 83.
Yeah, it's still the Fleer. I looked at. I just got the Apple Thorn Valley, which was like a food and beverage type card or promotional card, and I thought I would like that one, but I was just like, nah. I still like the batting stance or the action shot of it.
I didn't. I don't think I knew until about a month ago that you was actually a Ryan Sandberg fan. I don't know how I missed it or just never did hear it. I knew you were a Phillies fan, so I guess I assumed that like you'd be like a Schmidt fan or you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, when I was playing baseball, my coach, who was a Cubs fan, was like, "There's my Rhino right there." Because, I remember backhanded throw. I was playing second base, of course, and I threw it over there. And then he said that, and I was like, "Who the hell's Ryan? What the hell's Ryan?" And somebody told me like what it was, and I was just like, "Oh, dude, we got WGN at home." So I started watching Cubs games, and I was like, "I'm Ryan Sandberg too. I'm Ryan Sandberg of the team. I'm going to be the next baseball star."
He started with the Phillies. He started with the Phillies.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah. And there's some of the ones that I like too, the ones where he's in the Phillies uniform. Then he became the manager, which was also that right before he became the manager, he was the third base coach, and my girlfriend ended up getting us tickets on the third base side, like as close as humanly possible. Like we're right there, second row, and he's the manager, so he's not at third base. For me to get him up close, but I did get to see him in spring training. He signed a baseball for me, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So, what year did you start collecting?
In 1989, 1990. I started kind of late because I was in a foster home, and I moved in with my dad, and my dad had some cards, and then one of our friends came over, and he was like, "Hey, check these out." So, ever since then, I was like, "Oh, baseball." And kept on with it.
All right. So Ken, We can't hear you, Ken.
You're muted.
There you go.
Oops. Hey, nobody wants to hear my mouth breathing while someone else is talking. So, so you saved me.
Sorry.
It happens. You saved me for last, and I've been over here racking my brain, and just nothing stands out. Kind of like Rich. I don't know what it was. I had an appreciation for the older cards because my uncle that had gotten me into collecting had every set from about 55 on. And I just love to go look at those when I was in Birmingham. But yeah, nothing particularly stands out because typically what I was collecting at the time was something from that era. So I could get a Will Clark rookie in 1989 and it was cheap. So the only three things that kind of stuck out, and again, I can't even say they were dream cards, just things I know I wanted that I never had as a kid. 86 Donruss Canseco. I mean, everybody wanted the 86 Donruss Canseco, I feel like. At least the guys, right around my age, which is a lot of the panel. Herman, I think you all know, my first favorite player because of my family and who got me into cards was Dale Murphy. I did never have a Dale Murphy rookie as a kid. So that was one. I did, got that when I was older, and eBay opens up, and all of a sudden you can get a Dale Murphy rookie card for $5.
Don't feel bad because I never had one until about a year ago.
Mine's been within the last decade for sure. So that doesn't sound necessarily like long, but hey, it's the last quarter of my life so far. And then the other one, so in a way, it was like Rich that I don't really have one, and then it's also kind of like Mark that. I've always had an appreciation for the history of the cards themselves, and I just wanted to own a T206 card. And, I've done that. I had my first one when I was in college. I actually picked one up because the girl I was dating and living with, there's a subject in the T206 set that had her last name. Well, after that ended, I got rid of the card. I didn't feel I needed the card anymore. And then within the last 5 years, I've picked up 100-ish T206 cards. But yeah, I wouldn't call any of them dream cards. I was always pretty fortunate because of how I collected. I had what I wanted. The only other thing I could say is the one that maybe I'd still like to have that I just haven't pulled the trigger on is even though I'm not a Yankees fan and I never saw him play, it's got to be because of the 71 Topps card, but the Thurman Munson. So I guess I've always wanted that rookie. And, somebody was saying something about they couldn't believe, they hadn't gotten it for so long, but just, other things, you see other things that are a little shinier and I'll be able to get this down the road. So you end up buying something else. So, I would take the Munson I have now is a complete beater that I bought for like $3. I mean, it's completely got white edges and all that. And I would do the same thing with a Munson rookie. I'd pay $10 for a beater just so I could say I had it. It's about the card. It's not about the grade, the condition, what I can sell it for, or any of that.
Yeah. And you started collecting in what year?
87 was when I started collecting. 86, the uncle that I talk about a lot, he gave me it was from my aunt and uncle, but it was really from him. Gave me a hand collated in a binder 86 Topps set. Unfortunately, when I moved away, I had always left that at my parents' house. I'd left a little bit of my cards, mostly the junk wax that wasn't worth anything, and lost that set when my childhood home burned down a few years ago. But I did buy a couple boxes at shows and have recollated one. And I've got about, I think 8 or 9 of the binder, the same type of binder that it came in. Like there's a specific binder, and I remember that one so well. And I actually bought one of them to put that set in. And then
baseball on the outside.
It's brown. It looks like it has almost like it has like a texture to the outside. On the spine, it says baseball card album.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah, and it says it on the front too. And I have, like I said, I bought a lot of those off of somebody on eBay, I think, and he was actually relatively local. I think he was up near McKinney, but found those. I had eBay searches set for trying to find empty binders, but I wanted those ones. And then, yeah, I was fully immersed in it in '87. I couldn't tell you how many boxes of Tops and Donners my parents bought me, and it was full bore, and that that's why I say a lot of ways. He's almost been the most influential person in my life because of the sports and card collecting aspect. If he hadn't done that, who knows what I'd be doing now?
Right. So Diego, the Phillies collector. This is my one and only Philly in my collection, right here.
Jan Ho Park.
Yep.
What's that? We're trying to see the name. Oh, Chan-Ho Park.
Yep. Autographed. This is actually a through the mail autograph from Bo. 1 million Cubs, Bo.
Yeah.
Like I made a trade with him, and in the trade package, he didn't say anything about it. He just threw this in there and sent it to me because I live in Korea. And
So again,
and I later asked him about it. I was like, "Where in the world did you get that?" And he was like, that's from the time when I was big into TTMs." And he said that he had actually sent it to him TTM at some point and got that signed. And so this is a TTM from Bo's personal collection from some time ago, I guess. So see, there's a story for you right there, right?
Can you get it slabbed with the Bo Thompson, the 1 million Cubs collection?
Exactly. It would definitely have to be oversized because it's the postcard, right? It's the postcard size card, but yeah, get it slabbed right up there from the personal collection of Bo Thompson 1 million Cubs. Private collection, personal collection, whatever. Yeah. Once he hits 1 million, we might have to try to figure out how to do that. He'll be like, he's getting up there. He's been on the TV shows and all that. Like pretty soon, like just the biggest celebrity in ball cards, I believe.
I got his auto. I TTM'd him.
I don't have his auto. I've got his card somewhere around here.
I sent him a TTM request. Herman gave me the idea. I think it was like on a Hobby Roundtable. I had mentioned that he showed that he had a Bo autograph, and I was like, Bo didn't autograph my thing, like my card. He sent me a 1 million Cubs.net, and I was like, he didn't autograph mine. So I sent it in as a TTM request.
Maybe what?
did you get it back?
Yeah, I got it back. I got.
You know what I just thought about? We
Should have
should
went
nominate.
on. What is it? Who is it that has the tracking for the TTMs?
There's Star
is it-
Tiger. There's a lot of them.
You
Yeah.
should have went on there and posted your turnaround time for Thompson.
I didn't keep track of it.
So
It did take. Actually, it took another eBay order for me to get the TTM back.
So each
that's right. You just showed that recently, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
now I gotta remember what package it's in.
So I just thought about something. So I've said that I think it would be cool if Ginter would do like a 25 card insert set that was like people of the hobby, or something like that. But maybe we should. Maybe once he hits 1 million, maybe we should try to nominate him to Tops to
Man,
get
I
a
think
part
he's
of the
right.
regular set.
if he hits 1 million Cubs and he can't do it, that's But he's got to do it before. He's got to do it
That's a
before
slap in the
2026.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I
Gotta
would
do it in the next
absolutely.
2
Next
I would
2
love
years,
to have
yeah.
that card and have that card, send it through the mail, get it signed. Yeah, I think it would be so awesome, like I said, to have like a 25 card set every year. Look at all the stuff they put in there. And don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on any of the random minis, but horses and farm scenes and dogs. I mean, I love dogs. But yeah, why not a 25 card like I said, it's not necessarily collectors, but it could just be some names of the hobby that are, on various platforms or what they are. Because if Rich had a card, I would love to get. I would get.
I
that.
got a card. You have one.
I know. I'm talking.
I mean, look.
I'm just
I
saying,
have,
like
you have my signed 92 Tops card.
it's not signed, and that's okay. But
Then you have a rare one. I tried to sign every one of those. You're good.
So you're like Bob Feller. Your unsigned cards are worth more than your signed cards.
I probably have maybe 50 or 100 left, and I think out of the 400, probably 50 may not be signed that are out there in the world.
Yeah, I think I took like 3 or 4 because you were that was at a point you were starting to run pretty low.
Yes.
But I just wanted to say, hey, I think Peeps is already gone, but thanks for hopping in. And then Stories and Cardboard just hopped in. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, I just think that would be so cool because, you know, these are in there and not everybody's going to love it. But you know what? Not everybody loves a lot of the things that are in Ginter.
Well, a lot of people wouldn't even know what it is unless it was somebody that does a lot on YouTube or does a lot on Twitter.
Well, that's the thing. You're putting a short bio on the back because you're not going to have stats. So you're going to say, Rich has been in the hobby for blah blah years. Those kind of things. Just on that little blurb, and then social media ish or something like that.
If you guys care enough, I'd be in. If you guys sent me a photo you wanted to use, and then send me your bio blurb, maybe I'll take the time and make a set and get it printed.
I think that would be cool. I like I said, I just think it would be cool to, like I said, pull them from packs and have, say, even somebody that's not in our little group, but we all end up with a couple of them and send them off to whoever he is, TTM to sign. I just think that's super cool.
What we got to do is we got to get T-shirts printed up, like the vote for Pedro, but vote for Bo for Ginter 2022 or something like that. Vote for Bo Ginter 2022. And just wear them around. We'll get him in the set.
And Dan already knows how to do the T-shirt thing, so we can just send him the money and let him take care. I'm volunteering you for that too, Dan. You're welcome. But he's already knows how to do all that. Yeah, I would absolutely rock a 1 million Cubs for Ginter 2023, or because he won't get it.
Right.
Because he said he won't hit 1 million until next year. He's thinking,
exactly.
Spring, I think.
Well, now that
if he does it next year, then he's good.
Now that he's full time in the hobby, he may have to pull back slightly on that. There's
That's
also
true.
a difference when your income, when you have extra. He's talked about this, but there's a difference when you have extra. When you have a guaranteed salary and benefits. And all of a sudden, the hobby is your income.
Is your income? Yep.
Yeah, I wish he had been able to be here tonight because I've got a lot of questions. I just want to chat over with him, and his morning stream is too early for me to get up and watch. So,
I was working this morning, and I happened in his morning stream on Saturday was actually 8:30 this morning our time. So it wasn't bad.
And I woke up at 9:02 when Stella started losing her mind barking. So,
how is Stella, by the way?
They're all good. They're all spoiled little girls, but I love them all.
So this box right here is actually going to Bo at some point. I think what's going to end up happening is, and actually when I say it's going to Bo, it also has Herman. Herman messaged me about some stuff. Herman, there's your stuff that's also in this box.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't trying to rush you on it. I was going through the set, and I was trying to double checking where everything was coming from.
So I think what I'm gonna do is, when I go home this winter, I think I'm just gonna put this stuff in my suitcase, bring it with me, and just mail it all out from there.
So you're coming back to the States. You're coming back to the States soon, then?
The hope is basically February. Yeah. Pretty much for a couple of weeks in February. So that's kind of the hope, and that's actually, it's kind of funny. So once that time gets a little bit closer, I might do Who Wants to Trade or something, and try to work some stuff and just be like, yo, I'm going to be home from this time to this time. I'll mail your stuff out when I get in. You mail your stuff to me, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And just try to get it to work together maybe or something. And then I may end up meeting Ken because most likely my flight is going to go through Dallas because that's my general flight. My general flight is Seoul to Dallas and then Dallas to Mississippi. So most likely I'll be stopping off in Dallas. So.
Didn't you say you'll end up staying overnight?
How long are you staying for?
Yeah. Probably 2 weeks.
I'm talking about Dallas.
No, in Dallas, probably a day, maybe 2 days. I might end up being a day going and a day coming back, possibly. I'm not exactly sure, but
don't forget I'm in Dallas. Don't forget I'm in Dallas too.
Okay, cool, yeah. Well, and see, that's the other thing too. A lot of the times, so I'm tired. I want to get off, and like take a shower and stuff like that, and just get cleaned up. So a lot of times I'll get to the airport and I'll just stay at one of the airport hotels around near the airport. So I just hop off, like get a shuttle to one of the hotels, shower, go get some dinner, like eat, stuff like that. And then the next day I get up and like continue on my journey is what I do.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, if you don't mind a sofa, you probably could stay overnight here if you
And
want.
I think, Ken, aren't you near a great sandwich place?
There's a lot of good stuff down here. I'm not sure what you're meaning. I'm not sure.
I'm
what you're
talking about
thinking
the
of
one
on the
Ange
phone.
and Steph rave about.
Yeah, having a brain fart, not not sure. But I mean, we're only about 30 minutes from DFW. I assume you go through
Right.
DFW.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, save yourself $100 if you want.
Right. Generally, what I generally do is I generally use my airline miles. I just book my hotel on my airline miles.
Gotcha.
Generally, the thing is, I haven't been flying recently, so I don't know what. I haven't been flying because I haven't been able to fly, so my miles may be depleted. So
We can talk about that later. But yeah, and Herman
yeah.
just said in the chat, thanks for finding us stories in cardboard. He was my shout out on Monday. Hopefully y'all went and checked his channel out. Give him a sub, give him a little love. He's only at like 56, I think, the last I saw. So check his channel out. Like I said, he if you like stories, he'll take some cards. I think it's the 56 Tops football he's working on, and he'll take like 3 players. Just give a little bio, a little story on him. So
All right, guys, we're approaching 2 hours, and it's about time for me to take my doggy children out for their final walk of the evening.
Well, Rich, we're glad you joined us.
I was glad I was able to. It beats trying to sort through cards or other stuff with everybody out of town. So,
yeah,
you got to meet Charlie Chu a bit. I picked her. She came and visited before she went back. Tater never came to visit.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and I think we pretty much hit everything tonight. We'll go ahead and end it right here, guys. I appreciate everybody that joined in, and look forward to doing this again next month. And me and Ken will be back on Monday, and we may work on a little something special for that for Monday. We'll talk about it.
that's a surprise to me too, guys.
Well, you actually got the text. I don't think you've read it yet, but yeah. See y'all Monday night if you want to join in, and we'll see everybody else next month for the next Hobby Roundtable. Till then,
Sounds good.
happy hobby and
Bye.